Gunshot is echoing across the capital of Ivory Coast, Abidjan, in what had been described as the early stage of a military coup.
It's true. Alassane Ouattara, the president of Ivory Coast, has been toppled. Yes, this is the really old man. He's actually 83, and the rumors is that basically he has been unalive, but we don't know that. But this is the guy that was chosen by Michael Langley to help assassinate the president of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore.
Ivory Coast President Alassane Ouattara, where are you right now? Come out. Where have you been? We are saluting all the revolutionists who went on the street to remove that puppy of America.
Africa is far from being good.
Ibrahim Traore, Burkina Faso's 37-year-old military leader, has become a rising star across Africa.
So guys, a big welcome to our platform Pinaxtv. There's breaking news of a possible coup attempt in Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, and it's shaking social media right now. This comes just hours after rumors started circulating online yesterday. As of now, the whereabouts of the Ivorian president, Alassane Ouattara, are unknown, and many fear this could be a serious coup d'etat situation. Now let's break it down. Many believe this unrest may have been sparked by the growing influence and popularity of Burkina Faso's president, Ibrahim Traore. Since Traore rose to power, he's been hailed by many as a symbol of African sovereignty, a leader truly working for his people. This has clearly inspired movements in other countries. Reports from the ground and on social media suggest that gunfire was heard yesterday in Abidjan, the capital of Ivory Coast. Eyewitnesses describe the situation as volatile and escalating quickly. According to sources, at least 33 people have been killed in the last 48 hours following violent clashes between the military and possible coup plotters, especially around key installations in Abidjan. There's also growing dissatisfaction with the Ouattara administration. Many citizens accuse the government of human rights abuses, worsening poverty, and maintaining close ties with France. Protesters have even labeled the current administration a puppet regime for Western powers, especially France and the United States. At the moment, there's no official confirmation from the Ivorian government. Internet access has reportedly been restricted, and public updates are limited. Some unverified reports even claim President Ouattara may be missing, arrested, or worse. But again, nothing has been confirmed. Fact-checkers have flagged some viral videos as misleading, noting there's no verified evidence yet of a full military takeover. But still, the online reaction is massive. Many Africans are already weighing in, with some saying that if the reports are true, it signals a shift, a sign that more African nations may start to follow the Ibrahim Traore playbook. Let's not forget, this isn't Ivory Coast's first experience with unrest. The country has faced a coup in 1999, a civil war between 2002 and 2007, post-election violence in 2010 to 2011, and even a military mutiny in 2017. Now let's hear from everyday Africans reacting to this unfolding crisis.
Gunshot is echoing across the capital of Ivory Coast, Abidjan, in what had been described as the early stage of a military coup or large scale of civil uprising, based on the report we are getting from the citizens and also on social media. There is a fast unfolding crisis in Ivory Coast right now. The government has shut down the internet and all news transmission system across the country just to contain the mayhem that is unfolding in the country right now. Over the last 48 hours, about 60 people have been feared dead as the clashes intensified in the key areas of the capital. The uprising started as a result of widespread dissatisfaction with the president of the country. The man is accused of severe human rights abuses, increasing poverty, and maintaining close ties with the Western influence. France, I suppose you guys know, which is the long-standing source of national resentment. From me, Big Shy, okay, let me be clear with this. Let me just remind you that there are no official confirmation yet due to the internet and the communication system and the media system being shut down in the country. However, there are speculation on social media platforms across the world, especially on Twitter. There is a claim that the president of the country is either gone missing, arrested, or possibly dead. No public appearances or official statement had been made since the violence started. The violence didn't start today. I think it started about 2 days ago, apparently. Now, this is now making the speculation of, the president gone more likely. But like I said, there are no official confirmation. Let me just remind you, this is not the first time Ivory Coast would encounter instability in their country. We have the 1999 coup. We have the civil war between 2002 and 2007. And then it picked up again from 2010 to 2011. And then we have the military immunity that took place in 2017. Today's event is not a surprise at all to most of us, However, it raises the fear of a full civil war in the country. And this is something they don't need right now. They don't need that right now. The citizens accused the president of being Western puppet, being the puppet of Western powers, particularly France and the United States, with growing criticism aimed at the recent expansion of AFRICOM. He expanded the presence of AFRICOM in the region. If you don't know what AFRICOM means, look it up. At the time I was making this video, Big Shy, at the time I was making this update, the communication and the internet system in Ivory Coast is still down. And please, I beg you, there are no verified information being published yet by the state authority or any government official in Ivory Coast. Nothing is confirmed or published yet. But one thing that is confirmed is that, from the citizens of the country, is that the army chief was shot dead during a meeting with the president or after a meeting with the president. That is the only confirmed information we got so far. The army chief was shot dead. Nothing else had been said. This is a developing event and there are rumors all over the place, as you would expect. I will continue to update you as more information becomes available. So please, nothing is confirmed. Everything I've told you right now is based on history and based on the report we're getting from the citizens and also the report we're seeing on social media. Nothing is being officially confirmed. Let's wait and see what comes next. Like I said, nothing had been confirmed. Okay. But I need to keep you guys updated as things come true. Even Timo 360 is struggling to get information. He lives in Ghana and he is not able to get information. So you can imagine me on this part of the world. It is what it is. I will continue to update you guys. But for the meantime, what do you think? The president of the country is possibly dead, arrested, or nowhere to be found. And we also heard the army chief had been unalive, shot dead after a meeting or during a meeting with the president. That says a lot, doesn't it? It shows something is definitely up. Like they say, there is no smoke without fire. Look out for the next update on this matter.
The president of Ivory Coast has just been overthrown. Many Africans throughout the world, within the continent of Africa, has been seeking for freedom. Freedom of self-government. Freedom to have an elected representative that has the voice of the people. It has become a tragedy for African leaders to be overthrown. From the area of triangular slave trade to the current state of African movement for liberty, freedom, and justice. Justice that represents the African continent as a whole. I look at the state of drowning of many Africans seeking to cross into European territory. They drown while seeking for freedom. Africa is one of the most richest minerals on the planet, and yet they become strangers in their territory. Europe has 0 minerals, but it is the richest on the planet. Africans abandon their own territory, seeking for greener pasture, moving into Europe. Sometimes they drown, sometimes they kill, and sometimes they become enslaved. Not only enslaved, but in the process of moving into Europe. And what is the problem? The problem is the key leadership within African continent. The leaders of Africa, they look like they are enslaved that were kept by the colonial masters. Sometimes they said they have independence. In reality, they don't have independence. They are just a representative of enslaved masters. France in particular, there are 14 countries in Africa whose language is French. They are all slaves. It is a moment that many of the military has turned against the French system. However, the French are resistance, sponsoring indigenous by providing weapons so that they can overthrow a legitimate government that will speak the voice. Traore is one of those leaders that speak the voice of the people, and yet he doesn't speak the voices of the colonial masters, and so he has become the subject of a throne, and France has fundamentally. So it is the duty of the people to stand with them, with these leaders that is changing the culture of colonialism to a more free, prosperous Africa. Now let's look at what has just happened to Ivory Coast. The problem is not just to overthrow the government. The problem is, what do you do with the government that you have just overthrown? I think I would explore different philosophical of view that the leaders is better to work with the people whom you want to liberate and sit to them why and what is the best interest. First, the suffering of the masses of Africa. The key problem for any development for Africa is the infrastructural development. Africa is the worst in the world when it comes to in terms of infrastructural development. Infrastructural development has relegated Africa into the worst nightmare. But before moving forward, what is the key that can change the culture of this infrastructural development? It's educational system. African education system focused by the view that instituted by the colonial masters, that of administrative authority. The divisional officer, like in Cameroon, that is more common. They have more authority than the scientists, the engineers. And so for Africa to move forward and achieve, the key goal is infrastructural development, research development, educational system. Africa must in any way ensure that education system is the background or the backbone of moving forward. So if you have just resumed the power in Ivory Coast, or you have just taken over the power of Ivory Coast, I may not provide the best information, But I think listening to what is the suffering of the masses, the one another key element that frustrates Africa is the banking system. Europeans control the financial system. Sometimes they call it IMF. I call it international monetary fraud. It does not represent the interests of Africa. If the paper money that we utilize as a means of exchange, the paper money is made out of wood, and those wood are from Africa. But the Europeans make it us to understand that they had to control how much amount of money need to be made available for circulations. I think that is the key glue that Africans have been made to become a slave. This financial institution must be transformed, and that Africa must be able to decide what amount of money can be made available for circulations without jeopardizing the economic system, and not solely France or Europeans deciding the culture of this monetary policy. So while we look upon who would be amazing as the new leader of Ivory Coast, I know many other dictatorships are now on the hot seat looking for what will be next, and eventually they will follow suit. Africa have long exhausted. They can move forward, but they can relegate it. So we look forward to see the emerging leader, and that they should be working in joint collaboration to ensure that Africa return to the backbone. Let's look at China. China has shown since 1980, China created a monetary policy. It received a wide condemnation from the International Monetary Fund that France is printing currency indiscriminately. But today, the economic of China has superior because they do not limit the amount of money in circulation. They provide the money needed for infrastructural development and promote research in every aspect of life in China. So China has transformed into a new pillar of the world. So Africa do not drag behind. It's time Africa must move forward. Have a great day, and thank you for watching, and make sure you share to at least 5 people before at the end of the message. Thank you, and this is Unconfirmed Daniel here in the great state of Texas, here in the United States. Have a good day.
Ivory Coast President Alassane Ouattara, where are you right now? Come out. Where have you been? We are saluting all the revolutionists who went on the street to remove that puppy of America. We as African, we are saluting all of you. We are believing in all of you. We are looking at all of you. Through you, Africa will be free from its chain, because that Alassane give American air base for drones to attack our Burkina Faso, our Niger, our Mali. Enough is enough now. I love all the Ivory Coast people who stood out against this dictator.
It's true. Alassane Ouattara, the president of Ivory Coast, has been toppled. Yes, this is the really old man. He's actually 83. And the rumors is that basically he has been unalive, but we don't know that. But this is the guy that was chosen by Michael Langley to help assassinate the president of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore. And he has been overthrown. My brothers and sisters of Cote d'Ivoire, you got the memo. You got the memo. You need to topple this dictators. You need to topple these people who have sucked every ounce of your blood in order to give it to the colonizers. My people of Ivory Coast. So there are videos of jubilant crowds celebrating in the streets of Ivory Coast. People are overjoyed because this man has been in power since 2010 and 83 years old. It is reported that he's a billionaire and his children are all billionaires. And so he has just been filling his big old gut with all the money from Cote d'Ivoire. And now he has been overthrown. West Africans, you are leading Africa. You're leading the way, guys. Yes.